It's 8 months since Aldershot were declared bankrupt, gaining notoriety by becoming the first Football League club to go out of business since Accrington Stanley in the 60s. But today, Aldershot Football Club is not only alive, it's thriving, as Graham Simmons now reports.
They're expecting you to be a good side. We start off quickly, their heads will go down straight away. OK? Go on, lad!
This time last year, Aldershot were at home to Doncaster Rovers in the Barclays League Division 4. This time this year, they're at home to Epsom and Newell in the Diodora League Division 3. Well, in between then and now, they've been bankrupt, thrown out of the league, reformed, renamed, and effectively relegated 5 times over. It's remarkable enough that football survived here at all. And what's almost beyond belief is that Aldershot Town 1992 are one of the most successful sides in the current game. Well, back in March, the only people queuing to get into the recreation ground were the Inland Revenue and the Fraud Squad. Aldershot had earned themselves the dubious distinction of being the first club since Accrington Stanley, 30 years before, to be thrown out of the Football League. But then enter local businessman Terry Owens, with not so much a rescue package as a recipe for reincarnation through a share issue to supporters. Well, that was March. Now in November, the team are unbeaten, drawing crowds of 2,000 in a league where the average attendance is just 93.
I had a complete care-out. I may have made enemies or I may have been unpopular in doing that. But what I've done is not what is best for me, but what is best for Aldershot Town Football Club and its supporters, because this club belongs to the supporters.
Well, certainly Aldershot has suddenly found something to shout about, but while the cynics might suggest that nothing succeeds like success, there's rather more to it than just better results.
There's never any trouble down there, whereas before there used to be trouble. The atmosphere's much better than it used to be.
It's bringing terrific enthusiasm into the town again.
So now on match days, there are social clubs for supporters large and small, as the new improved Aldershot market themselves to all sections of the local community. And there's nothing more local here than the team itself. Part-timers managed by Steve Wignall, a naturalised Liverpudlian, who survived the bad times and is looking forward to the good.
Probably the advantage we've got, myself and Terry Owens, the chairman, and a few other people who were involved with the club before, have seen the mistakes made, and we don't intend making those same mistakes again, even if it means staying out of the league for a little bit longer than we should.
Well, this wasn't one of Aldershot's better days. Epsom and Newell falling a goal behind, but levelling things in the second half, and leaving Aldershot to settle for a draw in a dressing room, dressing down.
That is an embarrassment. Lack of thought, lack of passion, nothing.
Last year, a draw would have provoked cartwheels in here. Indeed, all the club seems to be short of now is a sense of perspective.
Everybody thought when the old league club went down that that would be the end of it. Nobody expected Aldershot to have the success they did. The team is winning, you know, albeit at a very much lower level. The fans are absolutely loving it.
9 months ago, the recreation ground was a depressing, desolate place as the Shots tumbled out of the Football League, weighed down with debts. But now the reformed Aldershot Town Football Club is a bouncing newborn infant, sitting proudly on top of the 3rd division of the Diodora League.
We've been taking an away support to these Diodora Div 3 clubs of between 600 and 800 people. Their normal average is 93.
The atmosphere in the dressing room is enthusiastic, not surprising for a side unbeaten all season. Manager Steve Wignall has shrewdly recruited players from local leagues to maintain the fans' interest. It's a formula that's paying off in style, but Wignall is fiercely ambitious for the club's future.
I'm looking forward to next season already. I'm eyeing players all over the place. The squad I've got at the minute is very strong, but whether it's good enough for the second division next year, I don't quite know yet.
Last night's game against Visa Homes League side Newport attracted a crowd of more than 1,200 for a Hampshire Senior Cup tie. The Shots were looking to striker Steve Stairs to add to his tally of 24 in 25 games. But it was defender Steve Harris who headed them in front before half-time. The Isle of Wight club, though, weren't impressed by records and reputations and hit back with a second-half equaliser from Glyn Taylor. Extra time looked likely until Aldershot skipper Dave Osgood popped up with a late winner to make it 23 wins in 26 starts. So it smiles all round at the recreation ground for the club who've come back from the dead in style. Ian Henderson, Sky News.
They packed into Aldershot's recreation ground last night for a Hampshire Cup tie against local rivals Farnborough. It gave Aldershot their biggest crowd since Wolverhampton Wanderers played there 4 years ago. Chris Morn reports.
Not so long ago, it seemed tax inspectors and bailiffs were the only people queuing for Aldershot's attention. A year ago, the Hampshire club dropped out of the Football League. But last night, the turnstiles were clicking faster than ever. They came to see how the club, reborn and prospering in the 3rd division of the Diodora League, would fare against neighbours Farnborough. The gulf between them 4 divisions and 4 miles. It didn't look good when Aldershot keeper Mark Watson blundered and David Leeworthy stepped in to give Farnborough the lead. Jamie Horton, Aldershot born and bred, made it 2-0. But comebacks are almost a way of life with Aldershot, and Brian Lucas knocked a goal past his old club. By half-time, Aldershot were on the way back. The key to their success is simple.
A winning team always attracts a big crowd, and that's basically the reason they're doing well now.
I think they've got back some entertaining footballers again. Although it's on a lower level, it's back to the old days.
For Aldershot supporters, claiming Farnborough's scalp would bring as much pleasure as winning the Hampshire Senior Cup. So Chris Tomlinson's equaliser was a moment to cherish. And even though Leeworthy's second goal of the night put Farnborough into the cup final at the Dell, Aldershot have given the conference side a real fright. They return to Diodora action, but the heights of the Vauxhall Conference may not seem such a distant prospect.
That's obviously what they're aiming for, and I would say it's well within their scope.
We're the underdogs tonight, but then on the other hand, we're the big team next week, like perhaps the Arsenal of the Diodora. I don't know, and it is becoming quite difficult because teams like to obviously beat us.
Football is flourishing again in this part of Hampshire. Chris Morn in Aldershot for Meridian Tonight. This is Martin Diener, multi-millionaire and football fanatic. His wealth and sporting knowledge is changing the face of football in one Berkshire town. His Newbury side now includes former Reading professionals Martin Hicks, fullback Steve Richardson and Stuart Bevan. Almost unnoticed in the stand, former England coach Don Howe, who's been helping Diener's team. At their ground, a new clubhouse and changing rooms are close to completion. The pitch has been relaid. An estimated £250,000, mostly made from North Sea oil, is being pumped into this club in Division 2 of the Diodora League. The financial muscle could have taken Diener into professional football. He nearly took control at Birmingham City, but their loss may be Newbury's gain.
League football, in any case, is an extremely big ticket item now if you want to be successful in it. I think you're probably better working from the grassroots up and trying to build something.
The construction work at Newbury meant last night's match was switched to Basingstoke. And as if to underline that money doesn't guarantee success, Aldershot were the victors, 3-0 the score. Their strength and income is based on a big following. The reformed shots take hundreds, sometimes 2,000, to outposts of the Diodora League.
We're looking to just progress gradually over the next 5 or 6 years. There's no way we're going to just chuck money at it and rush and try and do it in just 2 or 3 quick steps.
So Aldershot is rising once again as a football town. The ex-professional talent didn't work for Newbury last night. They're still adjusting to the non-league scene. For now, both clubs must aim for the top of the part-time game.
It is a long-term effort. It's not about 20 minutes, it's about 20 years. Newbury as a town is a town that's been used to success. It's got a public that wants to see quality, will try and build quality. The only way you can do that is with hard work and much effort.
Chris Morn in Basingstoke for Meridian Tonight.
The tone of this quarter-final was set after just 3 minutes. Aldershot fullback Darren O'Neill and in the yellow Farnborough's Jamie Horton squared up to each other. But Horton's aggression gave way to a great finish early in the second half. Farnborough, leaders of the Beezer Homes Premier Division, led their local rivals. And when Trevor Senior centred from the right, a second looked to formality. Somehow Chris Booth managed to head back across the goal. Aldershot, rebuilding and attracting big crowds, were awarded a penalty in the 89th minute. Danny Holmes, brother of West Ham's Matt Holmes, stepped forward. As the ball was cleared, Aldershot skipper Dave Osgood was hit in the face. Referee Alan Farrer decided Bradley Pratt was the guilty party and the Farnborough defender was sent off. The match was 2 minutes into injury time when Aldershot saved it. Osgood's header sent the tie into extra time and sent the visiting supporters wild with delight. It finished 1-1, so they meet again at Aldershot next Tuesday. Jane Hoffen for Meridian Tonight.
More than 4,000 fans saw Farnborough overcome their local rivals Aldershot. They met in the Hampshire Senior Cup. Chris Morn has the details.
Crowd congestion isn't restricted to the professional game. Kick-off at Aldershot's recreation ground was delayed by 10 minutes to let the fans in. More than 12,000 supporters have watched 3 meetings between these Hampshire rivals in the past year. Aldershot, now in Division 2 of the Deodora League, are rebuilding after losing their professional status. Steve Stairs almost volleyed the shots in front. At the other end, defender and goalkeeper were on a collision course. But Farnborough, riding high in the Beezer Homes Premier Division, were denied a goal by the linesman's flag. As the rain teemed down, neither side was able to break the deadlock and the tie went to extra time. A poor back pass by Dean Coney, once of Fulham and Norwich, let in Mark Butler, but his shot rebounded off the post. Then agony for the Aldershot crowd and defender Andy Nunn. As he tried to make a tackle, he inadvertently lobbed his own keeper. It gave Farnborough victory. They meet Waterlooville or Lymington in the semi-final, but the Hampshire Cup hardly mattered here. Local pride was the real issue, and Farnborough triumphed this time. Chris Morn in Aldershot for Meridian Tonight.